Welcome to our deep dive, listeners. Tonight we're taking a chilling plunge into the world of Ed and Lorraine Warren.
You know, those paranormal investigators, the cases, they're the ones behind some of the scariest movies ever made. The stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, buckle up. We're talking demonic possession, haunted houses, objects that seem to have a life of their own.
These cases, they'll make you question everything you thought you knew about the world.
Okay, so let's just dive right in then, shall we? The Devil Made Me Do It case.
Oh, that's a good one. Classic Warren case.
1981, Brookfield, Connecticut. Arn Cheyenne Johnson claims he was possessed by a demon when he stabbed his landlord.
Possessed. Imagine using that as your defense in court.
Right. First time in U.S. history. Demonic possession as a legal defense. Can you imagine being in that courtroom?
The Warrens, they were called in by the family. They totally believed in demonic possession. They worked with Johnson's family, supported his defense.
So the judge, not buying it.
Nope, no way. Ruled it wasn't a valid defense. Johnson was convicted. But it makes you wonder, though, doesn't it?
For sure. What if there are forces out there, totally beyond our control, things we can't even understand?
It's a chilling thought.
Okay, let's move on to another case, equally bone-chilling, the Amityville Horror.
Ah, yes. Amityville, practically legendary at this point.
A family driven from their home by some malevolent entity? A house soaked in a history of violence.
The house itself, that Dutch colonial on Long Island, almost a character in the story, you know. A year before the Lutz family moves in, Ronald DeFeo Jr. murders his entire family in their beds.
Horrific. And the Lutzes bought the house knowing that. Got it for a steal, but figured, hey, we can handle it.
Oh, they were so wrong.
Immediately, weird things started happening. Cold spots, awful smells, voices, objects moving.
Kathy Lutz had these vivid nightmares. George claimed he woke up at 3:15 a.m. every morning, the same time as the DeFeo murders.
And the Warrens. They were sure the house was haunted. Not just haunted, infested.
With demonic forces.
They said they felt this oppressive presence, saw objects levitate, even saw a demonic figure with red eyes. The Lutz family ran. After just 28 days, they just couldn't take it anymore. The story blew up. Best-selling book, blockbuster film.
But the debate rages on. Real haunting, mass hysteria, an elaborate hoax. Who knows?
A lot of the Warrens cases have that question mark hanging over them.
Yeah.
But you got to admit, they tap into something primal.
Oh, for sure. Our fascination with the unknown, the possibility that things exist beyond our comprehension.
Right, so we've tackled demonic possession and a haunted house. Let's talk about something a little more personal.
Oh, you thinking what I'm thinking.
Annabelle.
The doll.
Annabelle. One of the most notorious objects in the Warrens Occult Museum. A Raggedy Ann doll.
Mm-hmm.
Looks innocent enough.
Until you learn the history.
So the story goes, this nursing student, Donna, gets the doll. And things just start getting weird.
Donna and her roommate, Angie, said the doll moved. Like it would change positions, go from room to room.
They even found messages, written on parchment paper, convinced the doll was possessed by the spirit of a young girl, Annabelle Higgins, who died on the property. But the Warrens investigated. They said it wasn't a harmless child. It was something demonic, using the doll as a vessel, trying to possess Donna.
They took the doll, locked it in a glass case in their museum.
And even there, the stories continued. People who mocked Annabelle. Bad things happened. Accidents, illnesses, deaths even.
A chilling reminder, isn't it? Even something as innocent looking as a doll can harbor something dark.
Okay, so buckle up for this next one. We're going deep into New England folklore.
Oh, yeah. Hit me with it.
The Harrisville Haunting, the Conjuring House, this 18th century farmhouse in Rhode Island, one of the Warrens' most intense investigations.
Classic haunting, that one. All the elements, a family tormented, a dark history.
The Perron family moved in and chaos erupted. Objects moving, voices, beds shaking. The kids saw apparitions.
And the mother, Carolyn, she said she was physically attacked.
The Warrens pinned it on multiple spirits, including Bathsheba Sherman, supposedly a witch from the 1800s. They said she sacrificed her child to the devil.
And hang herself in the barn.
The Warrens tried to cleanse the house, but it got worse. Levitation, demonic manifestations, Carolyn showing signs of possession.
It shook them, even with their experience. The Warrens.
That house. A chilling example of how a place can become a magnet for darkness.
The veil between the living and the dead. Thin, very thin.
And crossing it can have terrifying consequences.
Speaking of consequences, let's talk about a case that sent shivers down spines across the world. The Enfield poltergeist.
In London, right?
Yeah. A regular house in Enfield turned into a paranormal circus. And the focus. The children.
Makes it even more disturbing, right?
The Hodgson family moved in. Knocking sounds, furniture moving, things flying across the room, disembodied voices. The works.
But it was the daughters, Margaret and Janet, who bore the brunt of it.
They were levitated, thrown around, even spoke in voices that weren't their own.
The case went global. Reporters, investigators, everyone flocked to Enfield to see it for themselves.
The Warrens were convinced the girls were being manipulated by a demonic force,
Trying to possess them.
taking advantage of their fear and vulnerability. Enfield is a chilling reminder that no one is immune, not even children.
And that brings us to our final stop on this leg of our deep dive.
Where we headed?
West Pixton, Pennsylvania. The Haunted. This one's known for its sheer aggression.
We're not talking spooky noises here. We're talking full-on assault.
The Smurl family was physically attacked. Their dog thrown against the wall, daughter pushed down the stairs, objects hurled across the room.
The Warrens called this entity one of the most malevolent they'd ever encountered.
They said it fed off the family's fear and was growing stronger.
They had to abandon their home, left everything behind. It's a reminder that sometimes the darkness isn't just in our heads, it's real, and it can hurt you.
The Smurl story became a made-for-TV movie, The Haunted, just like so many of the Warrens' investigations.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the chilling world of Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Last time, we talked about some of their most terrifying cases, the ones that make you sleep with the lights on.
Yeah. Right. And all those investigations led them to collect some pretty disturbing stuff. Objects so full of negative energy, they were considered dangerous.
That's where the Warrens Occult Museum comes in. Not your typical museum.
Oh, absolutely not. It's not about dusty old relics. Every object there has a story, a dark one, a terrifying one.
You've been there, right? What's it like being in that museum?
It's unsettling, to say the least. You're surrounded by haunted dolls, cursed artifacts, demonic masks, things you can't even describe.
Okay, so let's talk about some of those objects. We can't avoid it, right? Annabelle. The doll everyone knows. Seeing her in person, it's different. It's just a Raggedy Ann doll, but that stare, that smile, it gets under your skin.
People say even looking at a picture of her can be dangerous.
Right. Makes you wonder about the power of belief. You believe something's evil. It can become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
The Warrens were convinced Annabelle was a conduit for something demonic.
Trying to attach itself to the living. They blamed the doll for all sorts of bad luck. Illnesses, even deaths. Okay, there's another object in that museum, one that always creeps me out. The child-sized coffin.
Oh yeah, the one they found empty in a Connecticut cemetery.
The Warrens thought it was used for satanic rituals. Said anyone who touched it felt intense negative emotions, dread, even physical pain.
There's also the shadow doll, a small, crude doll found in the woods near a murder site.
Multiple murders, actually. Gruesome ones.
The Warrens were convinced the killer made that doll to focus his rage. Said anyone who touched it would have nightmares, feel watched, even be attacked.
And it wasn't just dolls, right? They collected all sorts of stuff from their investigations.
Things used in demonic rituals or possessed by evil spirits.
There's a mirror, supposedly used by witches to summon demons.
People say they see terrifying things when they look into it, feel a cold presence. Some even claim to have been attacked.
Then there's the piano. Plays by itself. Haunted by a dead musician, they said.
Right. And don't forget about the demonic masks.
Yeah, the masks. Each one more terrifying than the last. Used by Satanists to channel demonic energy.
Some of them, the Warrens claimed, were actually inhabited by the demons they represented. It's heavy stuff.
So the Occult Museum wasn't just a collection of spooky trinkets. It reflected the Warrens' worldview.
Their belief in the battle between good and evil.
They saw themselves as soldiers in that war, collecting those objects to protect people from the forces of darkness.
They truly believed these objects weren't just curiosities. They were proof that the supernatural is real, that there are things science can't explain.
You know, whether you believe that or not, there's no question the Occult Museum is a fascinating place. And unsettling.
It makes you question everything. Your beliefs about good and evil, the existence of the supernatural, what we can truly understand about the world.
And it's a reminder that even in the most mundane objects, darkness can hide, waiting to come out. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Ed and Lorraine Warren. We've delved into their most chilling cases, those objects locked away in their museum.
But who were these people? What made them tick? What drove them to spend their lives confronting the darkness?
They were an unlikely pair, weren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Ed, he was a former police officer, a natural skeptic. Lorraine, she was a clairvoyant, said she was sensitive to the spirit world since she was a kid.
It's interesting how their different approaches kind of balanced each other out.
Right. Ed was all about evidence, rational explanations. Lorraine, she relied on feelings, intuition, sensing presences.
But they both shared this unshakable belief that evil was real.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. They were convinced that demonic forces were out there, actively working in the world. And they saw themselves as, well, protectors, fighting against that darkness.
And their faith was a big part of that, right?
Huge. Devout Catholics, they saw their work as part of a larger spiritual war.
They were fighting demons.
Literally.
They truly believed that demons were trying to break into our world.
To corrupt us.
To destroy us.
But a lot of people didn't buy it, right?
Oh, they had their critics. Plenty of them. People called them hoaxers, attention seekers, so they had overactive imaginations. But the Warrens never backed down. They were adamant that they had seen and experienced things that defied explanation, proof of the supernatural.
And, you have to admire their conviction. They dedicated their lives to this. They put themselves at risk time and time again, facing those entities, going into those haunted places.
They were confronting evil head on. They built a legacy.
A complex one, for sure. They helped popularize paranormal investigation, brought it into the mainstream, all those books, movies, TV shows, inspired by their work.
And then there's the Occult Museum. All those objects, a testament to the darkness they encountered.
They wanted to prove that there's more to the world than we can see, that there are things out there just beyond our understanding.
So whether you believe in their findings or not, Ed and Lorraine Warren left a mark. They tapped into our deepest fears, our fascination to the unknown.
Yeah.
And they made us question everything. So thank you for joining us on this journey into the chilling world of the Warrens and into the heart of the paranormal.